let's go here. The
Don't
Lions,
worry about all that in the background.
Yeah, what's going on there? The Lions get it done. They win 34-31. A late field goal to ice the game. And, of course, Lions coach Dan Campbell's being talked about all day, and there's no way that we cannot address Dan Campbell either. And I'm going to say this right off the bat. Dan Campbell, for as much credit and people are all excited about him, I think he's a bad coach, and I think he's worse than Brandon Staley when he was with the Chargers, who got fired. And I'm going to tell you why. This is not being provocative or trying to change the game or having cojones or whatever. This is reckless. And the reason I say he's a bad coach and ultimately will wind up costing the Lions a chance at the elusive trip to the Super Bowl or even a chance to win it is because what he's doing is unnecessary and putting his team in harm's way. And it worked out last night. Thank God it wasn't college rules, right? Because when Jared Goff fell down, he would have been down right? That would have been it. He would have been down at that spot. And I'm just saying, you don't want to do that if you don't have to, going for it, 4th and 1, inside the 30. I read some stat where no team had done it in 25 years, since 2000, had that even been done. And again, you guys who I understand Lions fans, and you're one of them, you love the guy because you endured all the terrible years, okay? I get it. And you're like, oh, they're on the cusp. And this is the guy, he's fearless and this and that. But if you're really honest, Dan Campbell cost you a trip to the Super Bowl last year with the chicanery and all of that. And he's going to do it again. He hasn't learned his lesson. And until he gets burned, if you remember after the NFC Championship game last year, he told the team that he probably cost him a trip and he don't know if there's another trip. This is unnecessary. This is not Madden. This is NFL football with jobs and careers and legacies on the line. He can't keep doing this. Dan Campbell, I don't care what the results are, is a bad coach and worse than Brandon Staley. You know why? Brandon Staley didn't have a team that had a chance to win a Super Bowl. He was doing that nonsense, and it wound up costing him his job. But the Lions have a really good team and a chance to win, and the 1 weak spot is Dan Campbell.
Okay, this is where you get in trouble, Rob, and this is why I have to be here to protect you and be there for you in times of need. Because you keep doing things like saying Patrick Mahomes is Daniel Jones. And now you're saying that Brandon Staley has the nerve to be mentioned in the same vein as Dan Campbell, who has been, 24-6 in the last 2 seasons?
Don't forget the first 2 years.
Got to see, the first, one of the year before that. The year that he won 6, 7 straight, and then now we've been on this run. So if you want to add those two, he's been.
No, we're going to add his entire career if you want to talk about him, Dan Campbell.
But that's perfectly fine as well, because he came in and he was struggling like any coach, setting a. There's been stink of the Lions have been there for so long, and he came in and hit it with some potpourri, hit it with some Febreze, and we've been off ever since. Now, here's the thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. I think what he is doing works fine during the season. Have no problem with it. Amon-Ra St. Brown said, we knew all the time we're going for the 4th down. That's just how we are. It's our makeup. It's how we're built. They're ready for it. He said we're ready for it every time. This is what we do. Even he was a little shocked last night. But they've been doing this since the Dan Campbell experiment has begun. And it's worked, and they've won, and they've been dominant. Here's the difference, and here's where there is some pause for concern. If you do not learn from your mistakes and you keep thinking that you can do the same things in the postseason, where it's literally its own new season, then I will have an issue. What I mean is, on a random Monday night, a random Thursday night like last night. You got 16, 17 weeks, 17 games. Okay, you can go for it. You can gamble knowing if we were to lose, we got plenty of time to make it up throughout the season. Once you get in the postseason, it is literally a new season, 0-0 for all teams, and it is a win or go home. So as long as he has learned from his lesson in his mistake last year and realizes each game, each quarter, really each drive matters and it's different in the postseason, I'm okay with that because then he can continue to be who he is, mentally tough. This team fights hard. They play hard. They fight through adversity, fight through mistakes, and I love it. But I'm banking on that he has learned from his mistake last season and will make the adjustment needed in the postseason, not the regular season.
You have no evidence that he's changed his stripes. What evidence do you have that come to postseason? You got to give me 5 weeks. No, what evidence do you have? You have none. You're hoping, you're wishing, and you're praying, and you're saying last night was a random Thursday night? No, the division is on the line. Had the Packers won or Minnesota, they would have drawn, if they lost that game, drawn even with Minnesota. That was an important game. That wasn't a throwaway game. Where are you thinking how is that a random Thursday night
what I'm saying
game?
Is,
it ain't a
what
throwaway.
I'm saying is,
and had they lost, there would have been hell to pay, and you would have been screaming bloody murder last night, and you could sit there all day, and everybody in NFL America would say Dan Campbell is a bad coach. Had that backfired on him.
First of all, nobody would say he's a bad coach. You literally cannot say he's a bad coach. It literally does not make sense, does not add up. Nothing about Dan Campbell's a bad coach. Now, what you can say is all coaches have their issues. Some guys can't scheme up an offense enough. Some guys can't get their team to be disciplined and stop making penalties and mental errors. Every coach has their flaws, but you cannot ever say Dan Campbell's a bad coach. Nothing about his tenure has equated to bad coach.
Yes,
in fact, it's been
the postseason was bad.
The postseason
last year
where he had
a
flaw. Last season where he had one game, you're acting as if he didn't win all these other games to get there. Let's not act like he did. All of a sudden, he's just been 0-6 in the postseason. Now, what I'm saying is this has been the makeup of the team. This has been what they do. They go for it. They'll run the ball no matter what other teams won't. They'll push through injuries no matter what. This is who they are. Their mental makeup, they go for it. They don't care who's what. If we're not going to, we're up 20 on this bad team, we'll take their foot off the gas. They beat you by 40 or 50 points. This is what he does. And I'm okay with that as long as you get into the postseason and realize, okay, now I have to make adjustments because it's win or go home. And that's different. That's a different thing. We did what we did to get here. We'll do what we do, but we'll make adjustments as need be. That is a sign of a great coach. And if he wants to become a great coach, he will do that in the postseason as other coaches have done.
877-99 on Fox, 877-996-6369. Dan Campbell, I'm telling you, he's Brandon Staley. Do not kid yourself. And he's putting the Lions' chances of finally breaking through, getting to a Super Bowl and winning on the line, playing this Dan Campbell game. It's a dangerous game he's playing, and it'll come back to bite him. Kelvin is good with it. Just keep winning regular season games and don't worry about it until he pulls this act in the playoffs. Where are you on Dan Campbell? 877-99 on Fox. All right, let's start out. Mike in Montana, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Mike?
What's going on, gentlemen? It's good to hear your voices again.
Thank you.
Rob, thank you. Every time I call, I tell you I'm a Lions fan, and I knew watching that game yesterday I was going to turn on the radio today and shake my damn head waiting to hear what you had.
You knew it.
Knew it.
Yep.
So, all right, let's start with this. You're calling him Dan Gamble, so let's talk gambling. When you play blackjack, what happens when you get aces? You split them. Why? The odds tell you to do it. Do you hit on 16? No. Why? You're going to probably draw a 10. You're going to go over. Every gambler sets up a set of rules that they are comfortable with the odds and they're comfortable with the risk and how much money they're putting in there. And that's what's happened here. There was a high school coach who always went on
never
fourth
went
down,
for it
never
on
punted.
fourth down. Yep. Never punted,
went on fourth down.
Yeah.
He always kept the ball, never punted. Why? The odds to him were better to put his team in a position to win by taking 4 opportunities
Okay,
to get
can
the
I
first
ask you
down
this?
instead of 3.
What team does Brandon Staley currently coach in the NFL? Can you tell me that?
Yeah, but Brandon.
No.
Brandon
Answer the question
Brandon
first.
Staley
Answer.
ain't coaching nobody.
I'm asking you. What team does he coach for?
He doesn't.
Oh,
but
okay.
Rob, it's a result
Okay,
business.
it is.
Results
It is.
business, and the answer is right now the Lions have won more games in a row.
Who cost the
than they've ever won in
Lions
their
a
history.
chance to the Super Bowl last year? The players or Dan Campbell? Who did it? You got to pick one. The players or Dan? No. You got to pick one.
Was a combination,
No,
but
I want you to
absolutely he
pick
made the wrong
one.
decision.
Who? Dan
made the
Campbell
wrong
or the
decision.
players?
He made the wrong decisions
Okay,
in
thank
that
you.
game. He admitted
I
it.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And I'm not going to
Thank
argue
you.
that.
All right. That's my point. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No, you ain't gonna act like the players didn't not catch some plays and not make some tackles, and Brandon Ayuk catching a crazy pass. Stop it acting like Dan Campbell was solely him. It was not solely him. He did not put them in the right position. I'll give you that.
Doug.
But they dropped some passes.
I
got Doug.
I said if you have to pick somebody, one or the other, who would you pick more? Doug in Detroit. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Doug?
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for making us a part of your show. That means a lot.
Yep, no doubt.
I have to say that, and I have 3 points, and I'll get to them quick. The Dan Campbell is like the friend that's at the bar that's drunk and is like, I can get home. And everyone's like, no. He's going to make a bad decision that's going to cost the team. He did it last year.
Yep.
We know that. With them, you have to look at with the Lions that it's going to fail. Thank you.
But why though? See, yeah, under that pressure, he got nervous because he had more points. Said he had 3 points. You can't just say it's going to fail just because. It surely had their 12-1.
877-99 on Fox. Cody in Miami, you're on the Odd Couple
What's up,
Fox
Cody?
Sports Radio.
What's going on, guys?
How are you?
I'm going to go to earlier this week. You guys are talking about Billy Bean, and I really believe whether he's doing it consciously or subconsciously, you're starting to see a trend with how he's calling, like you were saying earlier, the Madden video game. I believe that the league will start doing stuff like this. I don't think he's going to revolutionize. And as Billy Bean, Rob pointed out, Billy Bean never won a World Series.
Never won. He's the godfather of analytics, and he told everybody they never won. Brandon Staley was doing this for years with the Chargers.
Why do you keep bringing up Brandon
Because
Staley?
he was doing it.
That literally makes no sense.
Cody, you saw Brandon Staley do this with the Chargers.
Rob, just a quick pushback, and I'll let you go. I wouldn't call him a bad coach. I would say he's the best coach the Lions have ever had, and I would say he's not a great coach. He's not in the
man. You could argue he's been the best coach in the NFL the last couple of seasons. You could argue
not
one or
not
two
when
other
you cost
teams.
your team a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
And
you're up 20.
So no other guy. So Andy Reid's a bad coach then because he lost the Super Bowl.
Thanks for the call,
what was it,
Cody.
14, 17?
No, they were up by 17 points.
17?
Are you kidding me?
Nobody is arguing that his first time at it.
It was the biggest lead, right?
No, but the reach is crazy.
The biggest lead at halftime.
You can't be Manu Bo Arms right now, Rob, talking about he's a bad coach. That's too far. You can say you have concerns. Cool, that's fair. That's understand. You can say, yeah, man, I don't know, he gets a little nervous under pressure. Okay, I can understand if you feel. You can't say he's a bad coach when the man is 12-1.
I can say whatever I want. I mean, I don't have to agree with me.
Sense.
You don't have to agree with me, but I'm telling you, it's going to come back to bite you. All right,